You highlighted recently Justin Sun saying that he'd be happy to support Tron. You mentioned all the other chains. Is that another one that could be coming pretty soon?
Look, all I say, a Telegram chat has been opened. And once the Telegram chat is open, if there's a group chat, it's getting done.
This episode is brought to you by Stand With Crypto. More than 50 million Americans own crypto. These are entrepreneurs, innovators, and job creators who are deeply invested in building a strong America that dominates this emerging tech sector. Stand With Crypto works to mobilize the crypto community around issues and elections. Find out more and see where candidates in your area stand at standwithcrypto.org. All right, one of the hottest projects in crypto, and one no doubt that we've covered many times before on Coinage, but the first time making his debut on Coinage, the founder of THORChain, JP Thor, here with us. JP, thanks so much for hopping in, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's exciting because there's a lot happening in terms of what you're trying to do now that you're out there, now that you've doxed yourself, I guess, in terms of being the founder of THORChain and growing this and showing what's possible. The latest move, too, bringing Kujira.
To be clear, sorry to interrupt. Anyone can call themselves a founder of THORChain. There are many people who've been involved in the project over the last 6-7 years. If you call yourself a founder of THORChain, you just have to back that up with your contributions. And so I can back that up with my contributions over 7 years. Everyone who's been involved in THORChain is technically a founder of THORChain over the last 7 years. It still has not gotten to a mature product that its end state. It's probably 5 years away from that, another 2 cycles.
Yeah.
So there's so much to build, and there's so much, we're about to launch an app layer onto THORChain. So, and bringing Kujira on and their ecosystems to do that. So the core devs, the ecosystem devs who are going to be part of that new journey of THORChain can also be THORChain ecosystem founders. So I want to make that very point clear. There is the founder of THORChain, and I certainly don't call myself that. There is a bunch of people who have put a lot of time, effort, and resources to make this dream of decentralized liquidity true and working and feasible. And we're only halfway through, for sure. We still have so much more work to build.
Yeah, I think that's important to point out. And obviously, whenever Chad was on earlier, it's always tricky to figure out what titles exist in DeFi and in this world. But as you talk about kind of the roadmap, how does this Kujira deal, what should people know about kind of how it all played out and what you're trying to accomplish there as you move into, I guess, this next phase of rolling out the explosion phase of THORChain?
So THORChain started with pre-beta software back in 2018. Cosmos, the Atom Hub hadn't even launched yet. That happened in January, February 2019. So we started building on very, very beta Cosmos software. And because we've had a lot of problems to solve at the base layer, Bitcoin, ETH, bridges, vaults, TSS, chaining, etc., that's just taken up all our time and bandwidth. And I would say THORChain has only really reached stability at the base layer in the last kind of 6 months, 3 months. So at that point, we turned our attention to finally upgrading to the latest version of Cosmos, which includes IBC and WASM. Because by adding those modules in 2 or 3 years ago, it would have just tied up massive amounts of bandwidth and being a premature debut. And so when we're finally ready, we've taken on board and we've engaged with Strangelove and the community teams to make sure that that's done correctly. Now, to roll out IBC and WASM, you kind of want to debut an entire ecosystem. So being in the arena and watching, being in M&A mode already, mentality mode already, when Kujira popped up with potentially an M&A deal, I reached out to them and said, hey, look, could this work? Could we backstop your debt sale and migrate you to THORChain? And it kind of worked. And because I just took a look at their entire ecosystem, their GitHub, the code quality, and I thought, hang on, this makes sense. Let's just do it. And it's happening right now. So the part sale opened up yesterday. There'll be 2 more days of it. We are backstopping the sale with 3 million. Me personally will do that. And then we will work together over the next 4 years. We have a 4-year engaged plan together to build out THORChain's app layer. And Kujira will be the representative asset of that app layer.
No, I think it's extremely exciting. I think obviously Coinage being an early testnet validator for Kujira, it's interesting to see it all play out too. 6th largest, I believe, in terms of the rank right now in that ecosystem. So obviously the Coinage community very excited to see all this happening, and every one of our viewers who's paid attention to the THORChain project. But how does this also fit in? Because it's not just, as we've covered, there are so many other front-facing kind of projects now using THORChain on the back end. We've talked to Voorhees and the idea of Shapeshift. We've talked to all these other projects that are now utilizing THORChain. What do you see in terms of that expanding? As some people have pointed out, okay, it looks like OKX might also be here. I mean, what does that look like in terms of being the quiet project that has always existed on the back end, but now not so much, being very, I think, maybe fair to say, aggressive in terms of now turning up the switch?
Right. So we've obviously always played the idea that THORChain should be integrated into wallets via an aggregator. And once you win the wallets, you basically have played your card. You've skated where the puck's going to be in 5 years. All Web2 companies, centralized exchanges, finance company, TradFi, everyone's going on chain. And to go on chain means self-custody. Self-custody means wallets. Users want liquidity, right? They don't want to go back onto, like a centralized chain, do an order, limit order. They just want to swap. And so by skating to where the puck's going to be in 5 years and focusing on wallet integration, like I say, THORChain's one. I mean, I've seen it kind of happened in January this year with the first major integration apart from the THORChain ecosystem. And, Zengo, Edge, Trust, Shapeshift are some of the known integrations. That hasn't been announced yet, but so Li-Fi as well, which is the backend for Robinhood Wallet, MetaMask, etc. But looking at the upcoming integrations over the next 6 to 12 months, and there are some big names in there, and you can probably guess who they are. And they are integrating THORChain at the wallet level. And as long as THORChain is stable and reliable and secure, they will never need to do another integration. So at this point, I think the protocol has won. It's skated to where the puck will be in 5 years.
Yeah, you guys were ahead of the game in terms of building out everything and making it easy for everyone to just plug in, which I think is why a lot of people, myself included, were so excited to see THORChain continue to grow. And now, though, I mean, honestly, dude, we just got to have you back because I know we're short on time this time around and there's so much shit to get into. But I do want to highlight the fact that you've bet on wallets and now you're betting on wallets again with multi-sig in the way that things just work. Talk to me about that kind of idea in terms of where it came from, what the problem was that you wanted to solve there, and kind of how you see that fitting into what you just said.
So in the next 5-10 years, everyone's going to self-custody, but having a single signature wallet, which is a single private key on a single device, just exposes you to way too much risk. And you log into your Gmail, you log into your bank account with two-factor. So your email, password, and then a two-factor, something you have. But we can replicate that kind of multi-factor experience at the protocol level using MPC, and that's what we built with multi-sig. So you can have a MacBook and an iPhone, or an iPhone and a backend server, or you can have an iPhone and an Apple Watch, or an Android phone and a burner phone and a tablet, because money needs to get hot, money needs to get online. Because the faster the money can move and get in the arena and buy time and effort, the more useful it becomes. So money is going to move online, and multi-factor ensures that it's safe and secure and can defend itself against the myriad of security issues with having money online, downloading phishing software and losing devices, etc. So multi-factor is the solution, and multi-chain multi-factor is the correct solution. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Telegram's coming online soon, a myriad of more chains, different architectures. Yep. Like account abstraction, which you see in the EVM land, only works for EVM chains. You need a proper multi-chain, multi-factor, multi-asset wallet, and that's multi-sig. And we're trying to establish it as a co-signing wallet standard, so you can start a transaction on one device and finish on the other. I do a lot of traveling around the world, and I get sick of traveling with these things, right? Because they're just literally a honeypot, right? Whereas I can easily travel with just a MacBook and an iPhone, and no one is none the wiser. I was doing multi-sig transactions on the plane at 30,000 feet over the Himalayas from my laptop and my iPhone, and no one around me was none the wiser. So this is the correct solution for sure.
No, JR, one of our community members, and in the THORChain community as well, made sure, he said, make sure you highlight there with JP, multi-sig and everything else that's going on there. But I will close with this, and I know you're running out of time. We're running out of time here, but you highlighted recently Justin Sun saying that he'd be happy to support Tron. You mentioned all the other chains. Is that another one that could be coming pretty soon?
Look, all I say, a Telegram chat has been opened. And once the Telegram chat is open, if there's a group chat, it's getting done.
All right. Well, listen, I know we only had limited time, man. We'll leave it there, but congrats on everything you got going right now. I think it's super exciting. And you got to come back because we don't have enough time to get in everything this time. But this was a great start. JP, thank you so much, man.
Thanks so much for having me.